Hello, I'm Dave Peach, and this is the Crawfordsville Peachcast, sponsored by Tri-County Bank, your community bank since 1892. See them in person or at tricountybank.net. Tri-County Bank, member FDIC, and equal housing lender. Crawfordsville Peachcast, I'm Dave Peach, and we are joined by...
Dave Meyer, Dave Peach.
Dave, always great. I can't wait. Today we're going to do a Jerry Lewis movie, Untoasted. It is Rockabye Baby. Did I get the name of the movie right?
Rockabye Baby, and there are a few Rockabye Babies, so you have to kind of specify if you're going to seek this one out. You got to say Jerry Lewis Rockabye Baby, because of the Rockabye Babies, Dave, I think it may be in second or third slot.
Listen to the end if you want to get this incredible Jim Nance pun, but you might say that another title of this could be 8 is Enough.
Ooh, very nice work, Dave. We're bringing us back.
Listen up for that, and that is Untoasted. Next up on Untoasted, Goldie Hawn in Swing Shift with Kurt Russell. We'll talk about that coming up. As we, I have a question real quick, Dave. Now
okay, Dave.
You were around at least enough in the 70s and I mean, even in the 80s to remember TV detectives.
Oh my goodness, TV detectives were an important part of our lives. I thought, are there private detectives in Newcastle growing up? I wondered such things because of your Columbos and your Banachek or your McLeods or, of course, Rockford. Wasn't Magnum, wasn't he a PI?
Yeah, Cannon, Barnaby Jones.
Barnaby Jones, Dave. I know Ironside was the police chief. And I guess McLeod may have been I don't know. McMillan and wife, weren't they in this area?
Oh, yeah. And yeah, they were right there. You're talking NBC, okay. Of course. You had Beretta. Was he a detective or a police officer? I can't remember.
I think he was kind of an in-between detective guy because he was dressing up, right? Kind of that guy.
So you had these detectives in the 70s and 80s, and they all had really good suits. Many of them,
yeah.
Or I should say, most of them had really good suits. They were able to go to, any nightclub they wanted to and buy whatever they wanted to. Correct?
I would believe so.
And they always had nice cars.
Oh yeah.
Now I know Rockford lived in a trailer, but again,
he did drive a Camaro,
yeah.
Right?
So what? And then we got these people that they kind of we had detectives throughout, but then we get to people like Monk. Remember Monk?
Oh yeah, Monk
and Psych. Remember Psych?
Psych. Okay. Wow. You're bringing me into the 90s.
So here, now we kind of move into this century. From Barnaby Jones to Mannix to PI or Magnum PI and all that stuff. How much does a detective normally make in order to afford to live? I always wondered that because they seem to be rather well heeled, but and they never had to. How did that work?
Oh, I don't know. Because. Yeah, maybe Barnaby Jones, maybe he inherited and had set aside or, I don't know. But right, how did all that work? I mean, Rockford always got paid, what, $100 a day plus expenses?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that's not going to, I know in his trailer had an ocean view. So, I had to believe parking it there was not free.
Well, and think about Psych. They had like an office right next to the beach in Santa Barbara. That had to be more than a couple $100 a month.
Right. No.
In rent.
No. Some of these, the locations, they do not necessarily match what would.
How much money's rolling in here? I still want to know. How did, now I'm thinking about it. I'm like.
It does not make sense.
No, it does not. There's no way. There is no way.
An actual private eye is like a guy that shares space with a shoe repairman. There's just so much, it's a couple of banquet chairs and it's pretty pretty low featured on
but anyway, that's one of those things that as I'm driving, I think about.
That's good, Dave.
Another one, the other day I was at a presentation. It was a very good presentation.
Okay, good.
It was Purdue University talking about semiconductors and how we want to be a country that produces semiconductors because we've kind of lost out to overseas countries like, I think, Taiwan.
Yeah, they're cranking them out, Dave.
So they talk about semiconductors here, and, they're kind of talking, and I'm thinking, you know what I could use, folks? And I would never say this in a meeting. I could use like a Schoolhouse Rock on semiconductors, I need a little cuddly
absolutely.
little. Yeah, come on, Purdue. Give me one of those give me a Schoolhouse Rock semiconductor edition.
Dave, that's probably the best civics lessons I got was that. And today, how to become a bill, right? That whole,
we the people, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice. I mean, we can do the whole thing, folks.
Tranquility.
We don't have to do it,
scary.
But we can do it.
Though.
We can do it, and that's because of Schoolhouse Rock. So, I need some of this. I need I'm 63. You're
I'm 59.
59.
Almost 59 and a half.
So what are you, Dave? You're not a baby boomer. What are you? You're like right on the line, right?
I'm an Xer. I'm the beginning of the X, Generation X.
You're beginning. You're an X.
65.
I'm still. There's some folks that consider me. I guess I'm a very young baby boomer. You're a very old Gen Xer, and I'm an old
Gen Xer.
You're
a late boomer.
Baby boomer. Anyway,
these labels. See, and the semiconductor, you could play with that. It could be like
it'd be fantastic.
It could be a short train guy, right?
Yeah, semiconductor. Yeah,
there we go.
I mean, there could be all, and other. They could. It'd be for me. I'm thinking about what this is, why it's important, and everything like that. Need a cartoon. I need a cartoon.
And I hope and pray, because today I am still just a bill.
Just a bill.
Right? It could be, how do we become a semiconductor, Dave? Well.
Yeah. Why are they important?
Well, we should look into that, Dave. Maybe there's a Peachcast about the cartoon making of semiconductor education.
Now, I'll bring that up the next time I'll pop that out. I'll just say, hey, let's think about that. But today it is Rockabye Baby with Jerry Lewis. Jerry Lewis feels good just saying the name. We'll talk about it next on the Crawfordsville Peachcast.
Are you looking for great prices? Do you have a smartphone? Of course you do. This is Bria French. With Tri-County Bank's Merchant Discount Network, you can get discounts on food, entertainment, tools, and so much more. All you need is a smartphone and your TCB Smart Rewards checking account. Cost savings are only a click away. Terms and conditions may apply. Tri-County Bank, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
Crawfordsville Peachcast. It is Untoasted time. Rockabye Baby, 1958. This is the 32nd movie that we have talked about on this particular podcast. It is Jerry Lewis. It is in Vista Vision. And Dave, I'm going to start out with a trivia question. What other movie was in Vista Vision? And this is a movie that is seen by millions every year to this day.
Wow. Okay. Well, my first thought on that would be Wizard of Oz.
You are, well, if it was in VistaVision, I don't know. It's not the movie that I was thinking about, but this is a movie seen by millions every single year. It's been on TV, I think, every year since I've been alive, and probably many, many years before that. Think of the year 58. This was in 58, so about that era.
The Ten Commandments?
No.
No? Okay.
It's a holiday movie.
Oh, way early for Die Hard, Dave. We're going to have to go with White Christmas?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
White Christmas was in Vista. Vision, and I quite enjoyed VistaVision. I think both of these movies were very well have been very well preserved in VistaVision. So it must be a good thing to be in VistaVision.
They did. No, they definitely hold up, and yeah, no, they are their own unique entities, and as is Jerry Lewis, right? That's it.
Okay, this movie caught my eye. I was at the gym, and
Okay.
I was on one of the treadmills, and they have TVs there, and so I'll go to goofy stuff on TV, and so I picked a Jerry Lewis movie and watched the movie without sound because I did not have headphones, and I was drawn in by the TV repairman scene. I mean,
yes.
and I thought, wow, this movie is going to be a laugh riot from pillar to post, and it really wasn't.
Yeah,
but it did have that good TV repairman scene that drew me in, and I thought, well, let's do the movie. And there's some good things to say about this movie. I'll let you kind of bring us in. There's also an Indiana tie. Tie into the movie. Well, so you fill us in on Rockabye Baby and the premise and what are kind of the action points in this thing.
Well, okay. So first of all, this movie starts out with like Jerry doing this like staged musical number, right? That then kind of dissolves into this, oh, where are we kind of thing. And I'm like, okay, so this is funky. Like almost like what does this movie need? It needs a musical open that's not exactly connected, but it's got Jerry Lewis, so it's connected. So that was kind of a funky way for it to begin. But again, that's where 1958, movies were like this. I just wasn't, in that. So, okay, the premise of the movie, Clayton Poole, right? Clayton is Jerry Lewis. He's Midvale, Indiana, as you say, and he's the small town TV repairman. And it looks like this town lives on a soundstage somewhere, Dave. Very conveniently.
Yes.
But definitely. So what we learn is that Carla, was his lifelong or friend / wannabe girlfriend who has become a movie star, left home, and she's off on, doing another movie. Which I believe was entitled The White Virgin of the Nile, Dave.
She was getting ready for that movie, The White Virgin of the Nile.
To make everything as pristine as possible in Midvale, Indiana. So the premise, and you're going to have to correct me because I think I've got it, but she was known as a pristine young starlet. In her movies and in real life, maybe because she was coming from Indiana or whatever. So it just so happens she meets a bullfighter in Mexico.
Haven't we all been there, Dave?
Right, exactly. At one point or another, this is going to happen. So she has a one-night passionate affair with said bullfighter. Okay, good deal. We've all been there. But
okay, we haven't been there.
Okay. No, wait, it gets better. Okay, she goes off and later finds out, like the next day, Dave, the bullfighter is killed, right? So they had gotten married, and then she hears that he's killed. So a
lot happens.
Right. It's either, I don't know if she's mad. She's either mad or she's sad, but she tears up the marriage certificate. So all this is important when we find out that she's preggers, right? She's with child, and that would be bad for her career. So in cahoots with her agent, whose voice I recognize, we hatch out this plot because Jerry Lewis has been holding a torch for her back in Midvale. So we're gonna get the kids to Jerry, right? And Jerry's going to take care of him, or Clayton is what we're talking about. So, Dave, is that okay?
Well, you kind of skipped over. You said kids, And
Right.
probably
Well,
if somebody's out there and they're listening to this, they go, okay, well, she's pregnant. We understand that. But then when you say the word kids,
right.
you gotta tell the folks that she had triplets.
She had triplets, so it wasn't a baby that they're going to drop on Clayton Poole's, doorstep, which is kind of what happened.
But they
actually do.
They actually
Right,
told him. They told him first, though. They didn't want to tell him there were three.
Right.
They kind of told him there were one, and then they just kept leaving another baby on his doorstep, ringing the bell. Here's baby number one. Here's baby number two. Here's baby number three. All of a sudden, Clayton's got three babies, and Jerry's going to take care of him, or Clayton.
The hijinks ensue. No, at first, when that scene is playing out, Dave, I thought, wait a minute, they were lazy. They stacked the babies. So there's a crying baby underneath the baby on top. So I was a little worried to begin with.
I was, yeah.
until Jerry indicates it's clearly coming from outside. So that was a weird premise to begin with, but we came through there. I do believe one of the things that Carla had been, though, that I did note was that before she became a big movie star, she was Miss Butterfat of 1955. Which I think an Indiana kind of an inside joke there. Anyway, but Dave, let's go to that scene though that drew you in without audio, right?
Yes.
Because can you describe this scene? Because it's like basically what you see is an old like almost an Addams Family type house, right?
Yes. Okay. Jerry is on top of the roof. And he is working on a TV antenna near the chimney of the house.
Yes.
And he is fixing the antenna, dialing in the antenna, and the lady who is getting the antenna installed into her home is yelling up to him about reception. And if you were around in the 70s, you know about adjusting the antenna and trying to get the different channels, and you would point the antenna in a certain way and get better reception. So he's doing that for her. And then all of a sudden he's like kicking bricks off the chimney at people.
Right. Immediately I'm worried about the structural integrity of this home. Right. I mean, at one minute he's up there hanging on. The next minute, these bricks are flying, man.
So he's like hanging on to the antenna, swinging around, kicking the bricks and hitting the milkman with bricks down below. Which I don't know if that would have gone too well for him. I mean, he seemed to be doing better, and then he got like I think he stood up again and then got hit by another brick or something like that.
A relapse.
Yeah. I think that would have had a little more a few more ramifications than what we saw in the movie, but it was hilarious. And then there was then all of a sudden he's got like a fire hose.
Right. Of course. I could have seen that coming. Like, okay, he's got the fire hose, and now this is about 3 minutes here, right?
The guy gets hit by the fire hose a few times after getting hit in the head with a brick. Not a good day for the milkman.
Yeah,
whatever he was delivering. Yeah.
I noted here Jerry and the hose goes on for a while.
It was so good, and it was almost like he was dancing with the hose in the street. It was like kind of like singing in the rain with a hose as he was, giving the milkman the business.
He was doing it, and the next thing I know, Dave, and I'm not even sure what scene I was referencing here, but I say Jerry is a furry man. So there is a scene where I think Jerry has his shirt off and he looks like the son of Robin Williams or the father of Robin Williams. So, then, we have the scene where Jerry gets caught in the house of his, the woman he's pining for, Carla's younger sister, right? And she had taken the tubes out of their television as kind of a ruse to get Clayton over there.
Now that she's played, Marilyn Maxwell plays Clara, right?
Right.
Okay. Or Carla. I'm sorry, Carla.
Carla.
Now that girl was played by Connie Stevens. Connie Stevens. Okay. It's like her first role, one of her first roles, I believe is what they said.
A young Connie Stevens.
Did you catch on from the beginning that she was sisters with Carla?
Not exactly.
But she was.
Yes, that was the deal, which seemed not as weird in the end to everyone else as it was to me.
And she went out to Hollywood to try to be a starlet. And the only thing that really happened to her was she got her teeth capped. And they mentioned that several times in the movie. It must have been a funny thing. It's like, hey, you got your teeth capped there. Oh, funny.
It must have been a bigger deal.
Yeah,
to get the teeth capped then.
Yeah.
I don't. But she's pining for Jerry. She brings him over to her home of an evening. He's in there. Her father returns, Papa, Gigi, who is kind of a stereotype, kind of I don't know, Sergeant Schultz meets Chef Boyardee kind of character, Dave.
Yes.
I don't know. So he's somewhat intoxicated and carrying around a jug of alcohol as he enters his home. Hears the TV up and comes up to his daughter's room. Then, okay, we're assuming he's intoxicated enough that Jerry Lewis, standing in the TV form or TV console frame, starts doing all these different bits like he's on television to try so that dad doesn't know that Clayton is in daughter's bedroom at night.
Yeah, he just kind of puts his head in the TV and does the different movies and the different commercials. And
he did a political commercial. He did some what would be not politically correct type humor.
Yes.
I noted that this lasted longer than Jerry with the hose. This premise.
You timed it out. Now, just so you know, that is Salvatore Baccaloni, Gigi Papa Naples.
Is that the actual actor's name? Yeah.
Yeah, Salvatore
Baccaloni. Yeah, he looks like his name.
Yeah. Okay. And we move on in the movie. Marilyn Maxwell, aka Carla, she goes on to be in the movie, and
the White Virgin of the Nile.
Yes, and all the while, Connie Stevens, who is Sandra Naples, we find out that that's Carla's sister, and she continues to have an affinity for Jerry Clayton.
Mm-hmm.
Ida Moore, Miss Bessie Polk, that's where Jerry Lewis lives. So he lives in the room above, I guess the whatever. Yeah,
103.5.
He's got the upstairs apartment there. Now she's kind of funny in that, and they do a little bit of kind of a TV parody kind of thing where they talk about the different commercials, and Miss Bessie, she has the hairspray Gookum.
Yeah.
Gookum hairspray.
Yeah.
The old gray hair. It ain't what it used to be. Gookum.
Yeah, she has a unique connection with her television in that the commercials are her favorite, right? And she basically does exactly and whatever the commercials are telling her to do.
Now, David, this movie was made in what year?
It came out in 58, so 57. This was before Dave and Dave existed.
Yes, but let me say this. One thing that she said as she was looking over these commercials and buying all the products and using all the different concoctions that they had, whatever, she said, no one is loyal anymore. 1958. No one is loyal anymore. What do you hear in 2024?
Wow. The death of loyalty was called early. I don't think, I don't know what Miss Bessie would think today, Dave, but it would be a lot.
There was, and this movie obviously was made in 1958, and we had a different mindsets back then, and certainly it would have been a little bit different today. But ultimately, Jerry takes care of the kids, and
he does a great job. Well. Right. And because at first I'm like, how is he doing this? And then they basically say, he's not only doing it, but he's, working, and he's watching the kids while he works. So there was like a shot of him with a string tied to him rocking the baby carriage while he is working on top of another house and all that. But one thing I noticed, Dave, is these babies, they were of the rapid aging type babies.
Not quite as rapid as some soap opera stars.
No, but they were sitting up with full heads of hair, another 25 minutes into that movie.
Yeah, it took longer to film the Nile movie than you maybe previously thought.
Well, and we haven't talked about the alligator that was the fake alligator that would visit the set of the Virgin of the Nile.
Yes.
Do you remember that, Dave? Yes. And at one point, I believe possibly ate some mail was part of the story.
Yeah. And again, the movie just kind of it's an okay
not timeless.
Movie. It's an okay movie. No, it's an okay movie. I want to go real quick to just kind of pick some spots here.
Gotcha.
The scene with the kid, I thought, oh boy, this is a little corny. And then I looked, and that was actually his son, Gary Lewis, in the movie. And I said, well, by golly, that's pretty cool to have your son there playing you as a younger person, singing with yourself.
Dave, I believe that son Gary, much like Dad had a musical career, he had a musical career as Gary Lewis, leader of Gary Lewis and the Playboys.
This diamond ring doesn't shine for me anymore.
And they had to have another song, didn't they?
Oh, they had plenty. That's the only one that I can think of. But he's still around. He's 87 years of age right now. I don't know if he still performs, but they were quite the thing. And he actually did the theme to one of his movies when Jerry Lewis went out of outer space. Something like I forget what that movie was. But I actually saw that at the gym too, without sound. Okay.
Well, what else can we say about this movie? A musical, if you like a musical of that time, I did. It's Clayton loses his accent when he sings.
Yeah, he becomes a little more refined.
But it's nice little in that regard. Some nice songs. The kids are cute, right? And then how does this thing wrap up, Dave? Because of course it's a small town and folks are paying attention, and so they decide that even though he's doing a good job at well-meaning, as a single dad, Clayton is not the best for the babies.
No, there's a court scene. That movie was way out, 1966, American comedy science fiction film, according to Wikipedia. So, and that was the song "Way Out" was performed by Gary Lewis, and I assume the Playboys were in there as well. The movie, it kind of plays out to, and I can only just I could tell you what happens at the end, but Jerry Lewis is it works out for him. It works out for him, and he ultimately finds out himself that Carla is not the girl for him.
Yeah, that's actually younger sister. And what's her name again, Dave?
Her name is.
Boy, we love this movie. Yeah. That would be Sandra. Connie Stevens.
It's Sandra. I'm sorry. Sandra Naples. Yes.
That's who he decides that is the gal for him. So they had gotten married as a part of the premise of trying to save the day, and then realize, right, that voila.
They got married. That's right.
They can have their own family.
Things that happen at the end of this movie. I'm just going to cut to the chase and say eventually Sandra, Sandra, she gives birth to quintuplets. Let's just go ahead and tell them.
So, folks, if you were thinking, wait a minute, Jerry gave up the 3 babies? Yes, but he got 3 new ones. So happy ever
5
after.
new ones.
Yeah, five new ones. Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, that was part of the, they only had 3. We got 5. Okay.
And
a lot of scorekeeping.
Jerry Lewis died in 2017 at the age of 91. He made 59 movies, 16 with Dean Martin. And do you have any story of Jerry? Did you ever run into Jerry Lewis in your travels, in your work?
No dealings with Jerry Lewis at any time. My feelings of Jerry are the oily-haired, Labor Day telethon Jerry of the 70s, and at one point, Frank brought Dean for their reunification kind of thing. That's the Jerry that I knew growing up.
That was the end of summer when I don't know if I remember, as a kid, I can remember going to school the day after Labor Day. That was the first day of school. Yep. I can remember early on, and that Jerry Lewis Labor Day telethon was really the end of summer. It was always emotional. Try to watch as much as you could. It's hard to describe to people today what that meant and how big that was, and the TV stars in the local markets would fight for time to get on the telethon, and it was a big deal. And I will say this, that I was so fortunate to actually see Jerry Lewis in the roadshow of Damn Yankees. I'm not sure what year it would have been. Yeah. I'm thinking about 95, 96, something like that. I'd have to look. But
he had a big Broadway revival that was kind of a big career, he was in his 80s, and then he took it on the road and, kept doing it.
I've seen a lot of Broadway plays over the years, and unlike other Broadway plays, at one point, it just stopped and Jerry Lewis did his act. I mean, and he played the devil in Damn Yankees, and he just took the stage and went crazy. And for him to make the trip to Indianapolis to perform, I got to say, I think he only missed a handful of shows. I mean, he went on the road. He went to London to do the performances, and it was really neat to see him live in person. And it's one of those things, as you really didn't get a chance to see Johnny Carson, Dean Martin, Sammy, Frank, all that. But to actually just see Jerry Lewis was quite the something that my wife and I still talk about.
No, one of the large. I mean, I cannot even imagine when they talk about the height of the success of, when he was partnered with Dean Martin. They were at the apex of kind of the comedy, film, live act world, which is not, it could not be conquered that way today or even understood. But you can look at, if you go back to the real footage, they were like the Beatles before the Beatles. Martin and Lewis. There's a great Dick Van Dyke episode where they go through the whole thing about Martin and Lewis coloring books. They broke up, so we can't give Buddy and Salary a raise.
Yeah. I think it was at 95, 96 pocket for Damn Yankees. But yeah, there's a lot of footage of Martin and Lewis standing outside of a hotel window with thousands of people there waiting to catch a glimpse of them. So Jerry Lewis, it was Rockabye Baby, a color movie from 1958 in Vista Vision, number 32 on the Untoasted list. And we will salute Jerry, we'll salute Marilyn, Maxwell, we'll salute Connie Stevens and Salvatore Baccaloni and their effort. I had one more question, Dave.
Yes, Dave.
What's up with what I would call the pants that are a little short and the white socks? Okay, who in the world could pull that off besides Jerry Lewis? I mean, I would look really I'd look like Chris Farley, doing the van thing if I did that. But somehow for Jerry, it worked.
It works. It's all a part of the character. He is so he's so committed. You're with him, and so you just look at that. You go, yeah. Otherwise, yeah, you'd go, oh, no, that's weird.
Well, we salute Jerry Lewis and his legacy and all the others in Rockabye Baby, 1958. We are back with segment 3 of the Crawfordsville Peachcast after this. Central Indiana Rubber Products provides the power for you. Central Indiana Rubber Products, or CIR, keeps farm equipment and local manufacturing processes running with gaskets, belts, seals, and O-rings, among a variety of other products and services. Employee-owned and always customer-focused. Central Indiana Rubber Products, 989 West, 83 North, Crawfordsville, and at indianarubber.com. Central Indiana Rubber Products, or CIR, power for you. Segment 3, Crawfordsville Peachcast. Hey, we did not pick up that Richard Dysart was in back-to-back Untoasted movies. He was in Meteor and Being There.
Yes, of course.
And I think we did Being There and then Meteor. They were both 1979, and Richard Dysart, and you saw him in L.A. Law, and he was in back-to-back Untoasted movies. Richard, unfortunately, died in 2015, but his memory lives on.
Memory lives on. Great career. And, yes, loved him in both those. Pretty good range when you can do those. That one, Meteor and anything else.
And
Dave.
Being There. Yeah. Okay, mistakes. We've made a few, but then again, too few to mention. Well, actually, we've made quite a few. And one of them was a lyric that it was the song Electric Avenue. Remember we did a little Electric Avenue.
We were going to rock on
deal.
To or through.
We're going to rock down to Electric Avenue. We're going to rock down to Electric Avenue.
And then we'll take it higher?
I believe we will. And we also talked about the Lost Boys.
Mm-hmm.
And we said it was a werewolf movie, and it's actually a vampire movie.
Okay. Yes, of course. We knew this.
I'm sorry about that.
No, I was in the genre. This was before the Twilight stuff. This was back in the day after American Werewolf in London, but long before sexy vampires. So we should have got this. Yeah,
and I've got one more, and this is a ponderable, one of those ponderables.
Mm-hmm.
Why, there are many things that I cannot remember.
Okay.
I can't, you always say, I can't remember what I had for dinner last night. I can't remember that. But for some reason, 1971, this is before your time, 1971, Joe Torre hit 363.
And he had
1971
hair. With the Cardinals?
And I can see his face with that batting average of 363. It's like drilled into my brain. Why is that?
You must have stared at his baseball card an inordinate amount of time. Or
my sister, Mom, he's been staring at that car for 4 hours. Nobody picked up on this in my family.
This is a sweaty Joe Torre. He had, before he went mostly bald, he had some thick hair, Dave. So Joe Torre, who
1971 MVP season for the Cardinals. They weren't very good that year either, so that was quite the accomplishment.
Joe Torre. Anybody else seared in your frontal lobe, Dave?
1971. Wow, now that I look at his stats, he also knocked in 137 runs, batting 363. That was definitely a career year for JT.
Yeah. No, that was in that era because a few years later, George Foster had a year or two like that, and they were the only years.
See, I can't remember how many homers. I know he went over 50 one year.
I think he had 52
Yeah,
and like
52.
149 maybe, or something like that.
But Joe Torre, the Cardinals were kind of coming off their Bob Gibson. I guess Bob Gibson was probably on that team in 1971, but they had won the World Series in 68, or did the Tigers beat them in 68?
I think maybe the Tigers won in 68. Yes.
And so the Cardinals beat the Red Sox in 67. Is that how that worked?
Yes.
Okay, we think.
Because that was the last shot for Ted Williams, right? No, Ted would have been retired
for Boston. I think it was an early shot for Carl Yastrzemski. Yeah, I don't think Ted Williams. Yeah, not 68. No, not 67.
I messed up because Ted only had one shot at a World Series, and he was beaten by the Cardinals.
Wow. Well, that's going way back. But anyway, for some reason, 363, Joe Torre is in my brain. And again, next up for us on Untoasted, Goldie Hawn, Ed Harris, Kurt Russell, and Christine Lottie in Swing Shift. We'll talk about it next, David. I can't wait.
All righty, Dave, let's go.
It is next on our Untoasted edition of the Crawfordsville Peachcast. We are presented by Tri-County Bank, your community bank since 1892. And I know that, as well as I know 363. And I also know that we're also sponsored by Central Indiana Rubber. Power for you. 1, 2, 3. Hello. Todd. Thanks for listening to the Crawfordsville Peachcast, sponsored by Tri-County Bank, your community bank since 1892. Tri-County Bank, member FDIC, and equal housing lender. I'm Dave Peach. Join us every Thursday for a new episode on Apple or Spotify. Please like, subscribe, and download the Crawfordsville Peachcast. This podcast was produced and edited by Up There Media and is a presentation of Fork Broadcasting Digital.